The issue of racial reconciliation is not a political issue for me. It's not an issue between conservatives and liberals. In fact, we should firmly reject any attempt to make it such, but instead address this as an issue that is, in fact, a human being issue, and for me, what is a spiritual issue, remembering that every human being is created by God in His image and should be respected as such. There have been many flashpoints in recent weeks, and these flashpoints represent years of pain and years of long-held attitudes of indifference. Yet the events of the last month have, I believe, created an opportunity for growing understanding and for striving for progress and for rejecting any temptation to wave off what's happening in our country right now. It's a time to engage issues of racial reconciliation head on, because that is the heart of the matter. And to me, currently, that looks like constant communication with Black leaders, with faith leaders, with law enforcement. You know, Scripture tells us that where there is no guidance, the people fall. But with an abundance of counsel, there's safety. And my abundance of counsel is diverse and thoughtful, willing to put voice to experiences that I have not had. And I'm grateful to those who've taken the time to speak earnestly to me about those issues. Make no mistake, however, there is a tremendous distraction pulling away from racial reconciliation as being the heart of the matter. Calls to defund the police or embrace lawlessness or play politics are unproductive. We're at a critical crossroads in Tennessee that's going to require us to drop the political theater and to embrace the dignity of each of our neighbors. And symbols matter. Proclamations and statues are not just snapshots of our history. They are a window into what we value. For example, take the Nathan Bedford Forrest bust and the tension that it creates between elevating history and elevating painful symbolism. And as I've said, at the very least, I believe there ought to be context around the bust, especially since Forrest represents a particularly painful part of history for African Americans. Our efforts there were slowed by the events of the last few months, but we're already working to fill the vacancies on the Capitol Commission, and those vacancies will be filled in the next few weeks, and we'll schedule a meeting soon after that. And regarding the Historical Commission, it plays an important role in this process, and I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the passing of the chairman of the Historic Commission, Dr. Revis Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell was a longtime Nashvilleian who served as a premier historian and dean of the School of Humanities at one of the most iconic historically Black universities in the country, our own Fisk University. Maria and I offer prayers of comfort to his family, and certainly his passing leaves a void in our state. Speaking of history and symbolism, we have an opportunity to mark a historic day in the life of this nation, and one that is particularly significant in this conversation. Tomorrow marks the end of slavery in the United States on June 19th of 1865, and I'll be signing a Juneteenth proclamation to recognize this day as it represents the promise of a free and just society for every Tennessean. We are at a transformative time in our country, and I believe that our state can be a force for restoration during this time, and we can be an example to the rest of the nation.